opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening indeed, and welcome to another round of the Chaz Draycott Media Boremula 1 World Championship. We've had 2 rounds so far this season, and it has been an absolute joy so far. So much exciting racing, and what a fantastic circuit we have for round 3. Autodromo Enzo Idino Ferrari is also known as Imola, of course. It's a beautiful place, and it's a legendary track. And speaking of legends, we have Jack Johns in the commentary box alongside me, Chaz Draycott. Jack, it was a hell of a race last time out. Cam Dance taking his 2nd win of the championship. I think this is going to be an absolute corker, this one tonight, because it's a bit more twisty than the tracks we've been to before.
Yeah, good evening, guys and girls. Thank you for welcoming me back, Jazz. It's exactly as you said. It's been such amazing racing in these legacy cars. That I'm actually a little bit. I think we're going to struggle to beat the previous 2 rounds. However, like you said, a twistier circuit. Otherwise known, I think a lot of people would call this a real driver's circuit with the amount of curbs there are. It's had some updates in terms of track limits, and just the way the track can bite. I think we're going to see a few mistakes today.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and a lot of the drivers may struggle with the car. I've been speaking to a few of them before tonight, and they've all said that they've actually found the car a little bit more twitchy than last time. So somehow this car has managed to be even more of a death trap when it tries to take you out. I've realised I've written the it still says Brazilian Bore Prix at the top because Chaz is clearly not paying attention to his details. There you go. It's the San Marino Bore Prix. Either way, you're going to see that graphic for all of about, well, nothing now, because we're going to see the drivers out in practice. And this is Pete Newman in the Benetton. He's got a beautiful new helmet design for this evening and for the rest of the season, I believe. Currently sits 6th in the championship, 36 points off Cam Dance. That really doesn't reflect how good a season Pete's been having, does it?
No, not really. I think well, there's going to be a few people disappointed with their performances though, as he gets all of his car on the grass there to open up turn one. You've got to remember, and I like the way that you've set this up, Chaz, in terms of the way the points work. It's not one of those championships where everyone gets handed out those points.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it when that does happen, but at the same time, I kind of when you've got to fight for that final points position, I just think it makes it all the more worth it. Surely, if you're that guy. Now, on the other side of things, you're going to have a lot of disappointed people that didn't get any points, but at the same time, I think it's worth how much they have to earn these points. And like you said, sometimes though, it does mean that people's seasons don't reflect their results and the pace that they've got.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, that's one of the tough things about it. But a lot of the guys here in this championship, you know, they're really appreciative of the fact that it's not as easy to score points. You know, it means that drivers that have said, oh, I'm not going to score any points all season, but you know, I'm enjoying the car, I'm enjoying driving it, I'm enjoying the championship, the whole vibe that everybody's got. That's great to hear, because that's pretty much what we want from this. But at the same time, you know, I think we're both in agreement that you can't just give out points for finishing in 60th place. You know, if you finish 60th, you've not worked hard enough for that, I'm afraid. But either way, we've had some fantastic drivers working very hard indeed. One of them is this man, Celeste Cragvrolic, currently second in the championship. And I tell you what we'll actually do is we'll have a look at the championship points as they are currently, so you can see the situation. Cam Dance with 2 race wins, 25 points apiece, and 1 point for pole position at Phillip Island leads the way. Silas on 36 points, still quite the gap, but his teammate Christian Rose doing a great job in third there. The two McLarens have been having a hell of a season. Jake Blackhall, pole position at Interlagos. Nearly swallowed my tongue then. He was doing all right at Interlagos, but spinning at turn 1 meant that he was on the back foot straight away. Ben Gregory, he snuck up there, to be honest, in 5th place, just ahead of Pete Newman, who is also on 15 points. And then it's the 2 Ferraris, Jack Stiles and Kevin Zemstra, both of them having a bit of a rough season so far. The only team so far not to score any points is actually Arrows Yamaha, which is Rob Lundgren and Morgan Butler. Those two hoping for points to get their season underway, at least from this one. I mean, if we look at Morgan now, he's currently 6th fastest in the number 3 car. And this is the thing, Morgan has always had the pace, but he ran out of fuel at Interlagos and he crashed very early on at Phillip Island through no fault of his own. So I think a bit of redemption is on the cards maybe for Morgan tonight.
Yeah, Morgan's had a bit of tough luck. He's definitely got pace. We've seen it. We've both seen it in other cars. When he gets his head down, he's definitely one of the racier characters out there. There's a few, actually. I say that there's a few exciting characters to watch, and we've already mentioned Silas in the McLaren. I feel like his driving styles that definitely works well in these cars for the cameras, shall we say?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is anyone's game at this point. It's round 3 of 13. This is, like you said, the first, I think, I don't want to say tricky track, because people will adapt to this circuit, but it is the first sort of narrow, proper circuit we've been to. Phillip Island's nice and wide and swooping, and yeah, it has its own challenges. And then Interlagos again, pretty wide track but small and had its own challenges. This one, I just think there's a big difference to the 2 circuits we've been to compared to this one, and it's going to be interesting to see who can get on top of that first.
Definitely, and we have a Ferrari currently fastest at the moment, which is Kevin Zemstra, but wanted to shed a bit of daylight on this wonderful car, the Prost Mugen Honda. Now, unfortunately, after a great first round and a double points finish for the team, the 2 Prosts of Tim Perry and Craig Evans were not actually around for Interlagos, so they missed out, unfortunately, but we've got both of them back with us tonight. And we have to send our well wishes to Craig Schill as well, who unfortunately has pulled out of the championship. He wasn't quite enjoying the car and he thought his performances weren't enough, so unfortunately Stewart have lost Craig Schill. They have, however, last minute gained this young man, Jack Werrell, good friend of mine, also a commentator. He has jumped in literally in the last hour and a half into the Stewart and will be trying to score points for the team. And right now, I mean, he's only half a tenth off his teammate Jakub Szymanski as well, so well acquainted already, it seems, is Werrell.
I'm sure that boy will find pace relatively quickly. He's going to want to beat his teammate, of course. He's going to want to beat many people. He was the interesting fact, got to put it out there, he'll appreciate this. He was the only guy out of everyone at Donington Park at the British Touring Car Round, the only one to beat me on the lap time board. So, very disappointed in that. Spent way too much money on playing Project Cars that day, and I could have bought the game 3-4 times over, but I'm sure he spent just as much, so it's fine. But no, Jack Werrell, no slouch in the car, and like you said, a talented commentator as well.
Yeah, he really is. His teammate has just had a car placed behind him, which is also another fellow commentator, Hasse Raymer, in the Tyrrell Ford. Jack goes across the line. What is his time? Does he improve? No. His best time is a 1:43.5. That was a 1:43.7. Let's look at Minardi, because you can't not look at him. Look at it. Look at it. Porsche Sport in the chat. How many Porsches? One. Because you know what? Just for you, Luke, if it is you, just for you, mate, I always set the pace car to be a Porsche. Always. You get the choice in iRacing which pace car you want. I'm never going to choose that stupid Chevrolet truck thing, or that weird sedan that's definitely not an Audi that our iRacing have made. I always choose Porsches, and it's because of you.
I got told the other day they've all got different speeds. Is that
what?
true?
No. What?
I don't know if this is true. I haven't fact-checked this.
I haven't thought about that.
I hadn't thought about it. I got told that the Porsche speed is like 80 miles an hour or whatever, and the truck is like, I mean, I could be making this up. Someone else needs to fact check it, but when I got told it, it made so much sense, and I was like, oh my god, of course. Of course it is.
I've never thought about that. Oh my god.
Maybe worth a test.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just to answer the question.
That'll be such a boring iRacing session, won't it? We're just going to sit here and watch the pace car go for 100 yards and then quit the session. What a waste of money. Let's do it. Oh, right. We need to talk about the circuit, really, Jack, because this is, as you've said there, it's a very tricky circuit. You're right. It's not going to be easy at all. The little chicane we've just gone up through there, the Variante Alta chicane, is so difficult because of attacking the curbs in these cars. We're going to see a lot of bent wings tonight, even because of the curbs around here as well, through the last couple of corners through Rivazza. But I reckon the biggest challenge is going to be when they come down to Acqua Minerale, because the car's going downhill, it's on the brakes, you're then changing down the gears, which is where this car usually brakes out. I think we're going to have a lot of drivers spinning around there, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we've seen these cars so often go round by themselves through the rear, and as it goes down, like you said, it brakes. The rear can definitely get loose. I will say though, the track limits have actually improved around that corner. As you go uphill on the left, on the curve on the left, you can actually use more of that now. The green part seems to be the track limit edge. The chicane, on the other hand, is very much, and they're not going to want to with their front wings, but it's very much keep it on the circuit and don't cut those curves too much. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's not out of question we'll see any overtakes down there, to be honest. I'm sure you wouldn't want to see too many try, but someone's going to pull it off. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon we'll see all sorts of strategies and things tonight. Rob Lundgren has very rightly pointed out in the chat, I think the speed is dependent on the track and car class, so I think if we are going to test it, we need to always use the same track and car, essentially. I think we need to make sure everything else is controlled, but yeah, I reckon they might be, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out one way or another. We'll get back to you. This is Jack Werrell then, as a newcomer to the championship with no championship points scored. He is the first car out in qualifying, basically. We've discussed with the drivers after Interlagos that there was quite the difference in the track being rubbered in a little bit more, maybe a bit of a difference in temperature as qualifying went on. All of these sessions are done in the same conditions, which is the iRacing default weather minus a couple of degrees, just give them a little bit more grip. And then all of the rubber is set to 0 at the very start of practice. So they rubber the circuit in themselves. It's not artificially generated or anything like that. But the guys were obviously mentioning that later on in the session it was easier to set a quick lap. And, you know, we argued the point that, well, that's tough. You know, if you want to be up there later in the session, then be higher in the championship. You know, that's one of the advantages you gain. Anyway, Jack Werrell is the first car to start a lap during this qualifying session for round 3 of the Formula 1 World Championship. And I'm pretty sure they're being timed at that line there, I think. But we'll have to find out a bit further down the line. Here is Jack then into the first couple of corners. And as expected at Interlagos, Jack, we saw a number of drivers taking it a little bit easier in qualifying, didn't we? Because they wanted to avoid that notorious 1X. And we only had one driver invalidate a lap.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one chance to do it. And I think it was Hasser who put a lap quite early in the session. He was up there for a while. I mean, he kept getting knocked down a little bit. I'm sure he was top 4 for ages before some of the guys on the later end of qualifying started pumping in the quick lap times. Conditions, I think, drivers are always going to use conditions as a, I don't want to say an excuse, but they're always going to bring it up and say sort of shoulda, coulda, woulda, and that sort of stuff. And yeah, conditions make a difference, but realistically, the order's not going to be that different in the time period that they've got to do this. Someone might gain a 10th advantage, which you could argue in Formula One is massive, but let's be honest, it's not. and they could have gained potentially. Oh, look at that big up. That was really nice on the exit of that chicane. Yeah, they can find that 10th by pushing a little bit harder. Realistically, it's ebbs and flows in racing, and I think one shot quali it gives everyone a chance to be seen. You've got Jack Werrell out here now on his first outing in this car. He's absolutely throwing it round, even though it looks like a valid lap. We've got some. Oh, you could say he's got loads of purple sectors, but he is the only one out there. So here he goes then. First time on the board, Mr. Werrell across the line, and it goes 142.99. So it breaks the 142s.
Yep, and Jack is going to get the car out of the way ASAP for Toby Ward. He's not going to do the full in-lap. Toby cracks on with it and goes across the line down towards the very first corner. Toby is currently in 24th place in the championship. Not that he will want me to remind you of that, but he's not had the most straightforward season as Toby. He's going to have Rob Lundgren following on from him after this in the Arrows Yamaha, but the Minardi driver, Toby Ward, so far this season, just having a quick look at the results, he's had a 17th place finish and a 15th place finish. And to be fair to him, they're both improvements on his qualifying, because he qualified 21st. Sorry, not 21st, 20th and 19th. So anywhere above 19th, based on his previous record this season, he'll be happy with. No purple sectors yet, though. No,
greens across the board. I can't see. I'm not sure if it comes up on the timing screens, whether it's invalidated or not, whether a sector sort of gets missed out. But it looks fairly tidy, but also fairly safe.
Yeah.
From Mr. Ward, but like you said, anything higher than 19th, he's got to take as a win. And look at it. Are they all going to do that on the exit of that chicane? Because that is fantastic. Imagine all of them coming through like that on lap 1. I can't wait for this race. But yeah, this I feel like some drivers. People are going to take this personally. I know they will. I'm not aiming this at anyone. Some drivers just don't take the little wins. They might see a consecutive 3, 4, 19th finishes in a row and then an 18th, and not take that as an improvement. But people need to. Someone's always going to finish down the bottom end, and if that's the strength of field, that's the strength of field. Any higher positions above where you're expected to finish, take as a massive win. You can still be happy with it. Obviously, he's gone up there with a 145.7. Can he stay up there? I don't know, but let's see where he finishes. Like you said, anything higher than 19th, that's what he's aiming for at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, one interesting factor about tonight is going to be this run down to Tamburello, because the cars get up to top speed by the time they're about halfway down the straight. You know, this isn't as much of a slipstreaming circuit as we've seen before, so most of the challenges here are going to come from driver skill, which is what's going to separate this track from a number of others this season. But these cars, they will provide a lot of slipstream down towards Tamburello, and I think we're going to see maybe a few incidents, but certainly a lot of overtaking manoeuvres down into that first chicane today, because people are going to get brave on the brakes and they're going to try and send it in. And Morgan Butler has just looped
one of those drivers.
He's just looped it on his outlap, unfortunately, but he gets it going again. Now, I believe this car had a slight tweak in the recent iRacing update, but only the slightest. But, I mean, as I said before, drivers have been mentioning that it's a little bit more snappy than before. So
That's interesting.
Mm.
I don't know if that's part of the... That might be something to do with the new tyres, because I've been feeling that in a few of the cars. The GT4s obviously had an update with the new Aston Martin. They feel a little bit more tail happy, I think, than before. It's not too much to handle, but definitely feels a lot lighter. In the touring cars, for sure, their rear end is now a little bit more. They get turned in a lot easier.
Yeah.
As front-wheel drive cars, obviously that's important. But yeah, these things, maybe it's a result of tyres, but I mean they were snappy as it was. So
Yeah.
the mistakes are going to be coming.
They will indeed. As across the line goes Rob Lundgren. He's done a number of personal bests, and he's 2 seconds down on Jack Werrell's time. But to be honest with you, with Werrell going first, he was midfield during the practice session, so we can expect to see him faster than the first couple of cars after him, if that makes sense. You can see Carn Newen coming out in the background there. And this is now Morgan Butler through Tamburello for the first time in his Arrows. The best looking Formula 1 car ever made, in my opinion, the 1997 Arrows A18. It doesn't look quite as great on this car, I must say, but still, it certainly suits the livery very well indeed. These wonderful little caricature cars. He's done a personal, not even just a personal best actually, in Sector 1. It's a purple Sector 1 for Morgan Butler. Lovely, lovely stuff so far. A little bit of history as well, by the way. Looking at the real 1997 San Marino Grand Prix. Neither Arrows finished, but only 11 cars finished, with 4 on the lead lap, as Christian Rose pointed out earlier today. It was Heinz-Harald Frenzen's first win of the season and his first points of the season in the Williams. So he's basically being represented here by Ben Hoffman, so expect things from Ben today.
Yeah, this is a storming lap so far. I mean, three purple sectors compared to the 3 times set so far. It's very tidy, not as twitchy on the exit of the chicane as well. So it's definitely focused. Got 2 corners left as he comes down the hill.
Another purple as well. Let's not forget, actually, Morgan was 6th in practice, so this is showing us it might not all have been down to slipstream. Let's see how he does. I think Rob Lundgren binned it at the bottom of the hill there, actually, just in front of him, unfortunately. Oh, no, there he is. Rob is in the pits. But this looks like a great lap from Morgan. Is it going to be pole position? 142.9 to beat. His final sector wasn't quite optimal, but he does go top by 7/10 of a second. Great stuff. Morgan Butler, 142.215.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. I think that I didn't actually clock what times they were doing in practice, but I think that time's going to be up there for a bit. Maybe I can have a quick look actually of what they did in practice. This is Nguyen in the Jordan. This is my favourite one, I think. Favourite of the cars.
Yeah, I think out of all of the field, most of the drivers wanted to be in the Jordan. It certainly is an absolute beauty of a machine. In terms of the livery as well, by the way, I know that it's got Benson and Hedges written on it, and B&H as well. James Leggett and I, who painted, we painted all of these cars between us. I think I did 7 of them, James did 5. James did the Jordan, and it's an absolute masterpiece, especially the nose of this car as well. But we have discussed doing non-tobacco liveries for the rounds where they wouldn't have had tobacco on the cars. Now, I would have thought Imola was one of the rounds where they didn't allow it, because it is one of the European rounds, but no. In Italy and in Spain, they allowed it. It's basically the French Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, and I think the German Grand Prix that they didn't have them. So we may, if me and James do it in time, with our schedules getting busier and busier every day, we may see non-tobacco liveries as Carn Newen loses it at the chicane. Now, let's not forget he was the only driver to invalidate a lap time at Interlagos. And unfortunately for Carn, it looks like he might have just done it here.
I think he kept that on track.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. It's going to be touch and go. Let's see what happens if he crosses the line. He seems to be still committed. I mean, he's not going to... I don't think he's beat any of the times that we've seen so far.
No, it's way over 147 seconds now. Oh, it's such a shame for Carn.
Someone else might spin.
You never know.
So he's done the right thing there. He's put it... in P5 for now. I just looked at the practice times, Chaz, and I've got a feeling that time's going to stay up there for a while.
Yeah?
Morgan Butler, his lap was pretty damn quick then. Based on the practice times, that would be the second fastest lap.
Wow.
Yeah, the 1:41 was done in practice by Morgan Butler. So,
Wow.
could this be his round? A driver's circuit?
Well, we'll
Is
have
he
to
going
see.
to be the driver's driver?
You never
The
know.
driver of all drivers.
We'll have to see. Here's the first of the Tyrrells to go out there on track tonight. This is Hasse Raymer, my wonderful Danish friend, fantastic commentator, very enthusiastic, very funny man, with one of the most beautiful doggos in the world, Stella. But he is certainly handy behind the wheel as well. It's great to see Hasse back racing again. He said he's had some issues with the downshift paddle, though, on his wheel. I'm not going to name brands because I don't want to pretend that some brands are worse than others. But he has had a few issues with his downshift paddle. So that's not the paddle, especially in this car, to be having problems with, really, considering how often you have to change down on the brakes. And that is when this car really starts to break away. It's looking tidy, though, from Hasse so far. He seems to be pushing it a little bit. Morgan's saying he hates the track. Well, he's certainly, much like me, actually. The tracks I hate, I go better on. Do you ever find that?
Sometimes I have been. As I get older, I find that more and more, to be honest, which is a shame because I hate the tracks. But I think this is going to be good enough. I'm looking at these sector times. He might go up to P2 here.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty strong. I don't know how that last sector was. Let's have a look.
He was just ahead of Werrell in practice. And, 7 tenths
there
off
he
him,
goes.
though. Wow.
Was faster in sector 1, a little bit slower in sector 2, faster in sector 3, a little bit slower in sector 4, and then, lost 3-4 tenths in that final sector alone.
Wow.
So, all in the last phase, really, for Hasse. But a good effort. He's up there in P3.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, we saw from Hasse last time out at Interlagos that he was up there for the duration. And, that is Jakub Szymanski, the man that is choreographing this session. And we're very grateful to Jakub for that. He does basically choreograph these guys and tell who to go out and when. And I believe that is invalidated his lap.
I think so too, yeah.
But he's in the spirit of it, because he knows that the drivers have to see 2 cars coming past before they then go back out. He's continuing on, and that's the right thing for these guys to do. It makes it easier for them all to sort it out. But that is a real shame for Jakub, the Polish driver, making quite the error there. And even if it is still a valid lap, that front wing is pretty injured. Silas has said in the chat he does crash into his teammates a lot, so he's not wrong. And his teammate, Shifty, Christian Rose, has just also put in chat, please no, Silas. Please no.
I don't know if I can call this. We saw Zwemstra up there earlier.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned him last time, and then he spun.
Yeah. Oh, he did, yeah. Oh.
I'm not going to put the commentator's curse on him again today. I feel like Butler's had his fair share of incidents, so I'm going to leave his name out of my predictions as well.
Yeah, because wasn't it at Phillip Island you said keep your eye on Hasse Raymer or something, and then he spun off the line?
Yeah, I did. I said
Yeah.
Hasse, Phillip Island, and he didn't make it past turn 1.
And then you said Zemstra into Lagos.
Yeah, and he binned it. So, who should I pick today? I'm going to wait for a bit longer, actually. I'm going to see a few more lap times, then I'll pick a name. They'll all be in chat, and they'll be like, don't say me, don't say me. But I'm going to pick someone, and let's see how their start goes. They're quite narrow cars, actually. I was thinking Imola, in my head, is quite a narrow circuit, but I mean, look at the size of this thing round here. 4 wide into turn 1, what do you reckon?
Oh, no, please don't. My heart can't take that. My heart cannot take that. But it would be very entertaining, but I don't think I could help. I don't think I could. No. I can't even fathom the words to even consider. My head is hurting thinking about it. All the complaints. It must be said publicly as well. There were a couple of drivers last time that did get a little bit of not a telling off, essentially, but just sort of asked to just rein it in slightly, because over a few occasions we've come very close to big incidents. And luckily, the guys at the front of the field especially have all made it through the race. I mean, that battle last time at Interlagos was so entertaining. But so many of the drivers, I mean, we spoke to Christian Rose after the race as well. So many of them said how stressful it was, you know, how close it was with the checkups and everything. And it's understandable, isn't it? I mean, it's very, very scary to think about all of that.
Oh, it's insane, and the cars are so, like, the slipstream keeps people in play. Like, you can see these times at the moment, the gaps might look quite big in the race. It closes them right up. Like Nguyen, for example, he's made a mistake, so he's not that far off the pace. And the racing was like you said, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's all about mindsets, and obviously we can't control every driver. Every driver thinks differently. They think a move is on. Mistakes happen in racing all the time. The adrenaline is real. This may be a sim. The racing might be. There might not be any G-force in your chairs, but at the same time, Ed May up.
Nice.
Nearly only 2 tenths off of Morgan Butler. Good time. Oh, do you know what? He's completely sidetracked me there.
The
What was I
G-force
saying?
and the realism
Sorry
of
about G-force.
the adrenaline.
Adrenaline. The adrenaline's real, so the anger is real. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the drivers should be aware, the ones that do this more often should be aware this is a long race. And it's not all won on lap 1, although some people will probably say that to wind other people up.
Yeah, they do.
There's a pit stop in here. We've got to throw strategies in there. You've got some people, I think, we saw out on in the early laps of Phillip Island.
Yeah.
By the time the pit stops came around, they found themselves back up there. And it's all to play for. It's a long race. And I don't think we're going to see a big pile up. I hope we don't see a big pile up. But yeah, anything can happen, and I'm excited. Chaz, to find out what's going to happen.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. As we've seen so far, we never know what to expect. You know, we never know what to expect. We've had some fantastic packs at the front of these fights, but so much slipstreaming has been done on all of the parts of the circuit. This time round, there's not going to be much slipstreaming going on, so I'm excited to see how this separates the men from the boys this season. Ed May did an absolutely stunning lap there. They're really good stuff. A 142.41. This is Martin Kenyon, the first of the 2 Lolas. Unfortunately, though, his teammate James Leggett not with us this evening. He's been suffering with a migraine, and I think Martin might have just put that off. Martin's been doing brilliantly, though, to be fair to him. We do praise Martin every week, but he's been great. You know, he's come from an oval background. He's really got used to a car that he's never driven before this season, and he's properly got stuck in with it, and it's been great to see. Now, that mistake is going to put him further down, but I believe...
I think it
was.
Looks like he didn't get it stopped in time.
Yeah.
He was really close to the line. Like, it would have been touch and go. We've got a Williams coming through.
This is
Hoffman.
Essentially Heinz Harald Hoffman coming into into turn 1. Now, in the real world, Heinz Harald Frentzen won this Grand Prix in '97, so I'm expecting big things from the other German driver in the Williams. Quite funny little fact, actually. The Mini Champs branding couldn't actually get licensing for Heinz Harald Frentzen's name for the '97 car for a long time, so he was actually called German Driver. with no name on the car and a slightly not accurate helmet design on the model, which was quite funny. But Ben is very, very quick. It's just he's been caught up in a lot of trouble this season. He spun on the first lap at Interlagos. He also caused an incident on the first lap at Phillip Island, outbraking himself into multiple cars, took both the arrows with him. But we know that Ben is quick. I mean, we've both seen him in Formula cars before, and he's seriously fast. I mean, at the end of the day, he was 3rd in pre-season testing. That's why he's in a Williams. You know, he's proven how quick he is. I think he's another driver that's just still waiting for that early season breakthrough, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to compare these sector times as he's going around to predict where he's going to be. I mean, he's obviously setting personal bests. I'm struggling, to be honest, to do it on the fly, but it looks like a tidy lap. He's in one of the faster cars, like you said, but another one of those drivers that's just looking to sort of capitalise on that pace. Not quite doing it yet, but plenty of time to do so.
Across the line he goes. He's going to be a little bit off here, actually. Here's Ben Hoffman. Let's see where that time puts him. 3rd place, just ahead of Jack Werrell. Jack will be happy to see that, though, on his debut, to be honest with you. 3rd place, 3/4 of a second off. That shows just how good that lap by Morgan Butler was and how good Ed May's lap was as well. Now, speaking of Ed May, here is his teammate, Adam Hedgecock, number 13. Adam's had quite the season so far, actually. He's been really enjoying driving the car, really enjoying getting amongst it as well. Currently, as things stand, he is in 12th place in the championship. 5 points. His best result this season was last time out at Interlagos. That's where he got those 5 points, actually. Finished in 8th position. He finished just outside the points in 14th after an incident at Phillip Island. But it's looking tidy so far from Hedge. Very tidy indeed. As he goes back up the hill over the crest. Such a difficult part of the circuit, this, because it's almost a blind corner, and you always think that the runoff area there is a lot further away than it actually is. It really creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the major updates of the circuit was the runoff on the top of that hill. You've got to keep all wheels. I think the curb is the edge now, so you can't actually use the green bit on the exit, which people used to, and rightly so. If you're not going to get penalised for it, people used to go right out there on the green stuff, keep their throttle pinned. Now you've got to be really careful. Down here is quite nice. This is where we saw Kenyon make the mistake. So it's a downhill braking zone into a relatively fast 90-degree left, really. You can carry the speed through nicely. The camber's quite nice through there. Maybe just a lift for the final corner, and away he goes. Not using too much curb on the exit. I don't know how these cars are reacting to the curbs. But a tidy lap. He's in the 44s, is he? 44 seconds. Let's have a look where that puts him. He's in 6th place, 1.4 seconds down. Nearly got Hasser. Not far off at all. Less than a 10th behind. And quite a large distance ahead of Lundgren in P7.
Yeah, quite the split there, actually, from 6th down to 7th at the moment. It's interesting that even SDK does that thing that Formula 1 timing does, where the car goes across the line and you see the timer exceed what their lap time was. I love that. That's just, I always remember watching that as a kid. You know, you'd have that famous camera angle of a car coming towards you down the straight. You'd see them cross the line and the timer would keep counting. Then it'd disappear and you'd wait for maybe a second or two for the time to show up. And it's great that SDK even does that as well, because obviously there is a slight delay from it being rendered to iRacing from the information to what we see as spectators and so on. Now, John Tusting is out there in the Minardi. John currently very, very pleased with his season so far. He's got 5 points as well, tied with Hedgecock and the next car out, which will be Tim Perry. But great stuff for Minardi so far. Minardi scored no points during 1997. They were the bottom finishing team, if I remember rightly, if Tyrrell weren't. So John and his teammate Toby have been doing them justice at the moment. Shifty's asking what's the 107% time. That would be awesome to imply that. I would love to be able to apply that. That's such a cool setting that should be put on iRacing. Bit of a wobble through the chicane for Tusting, but this is the thing. Out of all the corners where you want to play it safe, that must be so tempting to just risk it and throw it at the curbs there, mustn't it, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the suspension on these things. It doesn't look like there's much give. I haven't seen, I mean, imagine if these had the updated damage model. If you clouted that curb too much, one of those wheels is coming off.
Oh, yeah.
But you got the good thing about these guys. So John Tustin and his teammate, they're only 1 point behind Sauber in the constructors. So they are. That's another thing that sort of gets bred from having. He goes up into P6. Look at that. Only 2,000ths off of Hasser's time. Yeah. Jesus, that's close. It's another thing that gets bred from not giving points to everyone. I think there's quite a lot of close fights in that team standings, for example, and it'll be the same in the drivers. This is Tim Perry. Should we stay on board with Tim in the Cross Mugen Honda? Yeah. So he's just come through turns 1 and 2. On the right-hand side now. Now watch how fast he's going to come through here. So he reaches 130 mile an hour, just quick lift off, throws it into that left, downshifts into the right-hand side. Doesn't use too much curve on the exit, but you can. 50-meter board, I have assume. Down into second gear, hold it tight to this left-hand side hairpin. Smooth on the power and up the hill he goes. Again, not using too much curve. Maybe the downforce showing that this car doesn't need it. Going to reach 5th, maybe 123, 5 miles an hour into the top left hand hill, and then you come over this blind left, you go down the hill again into Acqua Minerale. This is probably the most famous corner. Chucks it in. Look how twitchy it gets under the brakes. It's the right hand side, up the hill again, keeps 2 wheels firmly on the track, and now this is the chicane. Let's see how they're taking this, because we see everyone twitch on the exit. tentative on the brakes into second, smooth on the power. But if they
Nice.
floor it, that's when we're seeing those drifts. Anyone that puts that power down straight away up into 5th gear now. What speed do they reach into this downhill braking zone? Any lockup? 134 miles an hour, and diagonal braking across to the apex, carries the speed through in 3rd gear. Lifts off, big coast through that final corner, and again, smooth on the power. Tidy lap from Tim Perry.
I must add, though, he's not done a 20-second lap here. Basically, had a tiny internet blip there for a second, and SDK has reset the timing on that bit there. So hopefully he doesn't go to the top with a 20-second lap.
Doesn't.
No.
There he goes. There's a 143.7, 1/10 off of Hedgecock. Again, though, so he's on that tail end of that mid-pack, very close, 5th to 8th. Nothing between them, really. And then the big jump down to the other 3. And then a little double battle with Hoffman and Werrell at the moment, and May and Butler. Oh.
That was his teammate Craig Evans having a hell of a lock-up and a wobble on the way into Tamburello. Now, Craig is streaming tonight on his Twitch channel once again. He did a live stream at Phillip Island, and he even did a highlights video that he put on his YouTube channel. And, you know, Craig and I are great friends. Really, really good lad is Craig, and he supports my YouTube channel. I support his. He's doing a very interesting TOCA race driver playthrough at the moment on PS2, which I've been watching with great interest, and his most 2 recent videos are hilariously awful, not in terms of video quality, but his driving, because the car he races is absolutely diabolical, and I remember it from that game. It was the old NASCAR. Anyway, he's on the back foot straight away on this lap. He needs to recover from that lockup and that wobble. He's had a bit of time outside of the car because of his work commitments. Nice little wobble there through Acqua Minerale. Love that. Also, it looks like we're going to be nice and close on time here with this session. It is an hour long, but to be honest with you, we've done 28 minutes and 40 seconds now, and we've got more than half of the cars done. We've only got, I think, about 7 or 8 left to go, haven't we? So it's
yeah. 8 lefts after this, so it should be done. Plenty of time.
Oh no, he's binned it.
There he
He
goes.
spun it round. And
I don't know if that's invalidated, to be honest. Oh, of course it will be a loss of control.
Yeah.
But it didn't go off.
Craig will be gutted, and he's going to go into the pits.
Yeah,
so
straight in.
I think Jakob's going to have to just say, look, next out. Now, it's surprising because Craig missed a round, but look who's next in qualifying, who's next above him in the championship. It's Kevin Zemstra. Kevin is currently 8th in the championship in car 88 with guess how many points?
8.
8! You couldn't make it up. So let's hope he qualifies 8th. But either way, Kevin is an absolute star. Really, really nice guy. Very, very fast. And he was actually fastest in practice as well. So we'll have to see what he's got in his locker here. In the beautiful Ferrari.
For anyone with serious OCD, if you add Ferrari's points to his number, you get 100.
Oh, hello.
Completely pointless. They are. Now I feel like, what's his name? Why have I forgotten his name? Who's the Formula 1 guy that everyone dislikes at times? Oh, he went wide there. Did you see
Crofty.
that? That's it. Crofty. David Croft. I'm putting out useless facts. 88 and 22. 100.
Should be a bingo caller.
Going on. I know.
2 fat ladies go through.
Yeah.
2 fat ladies through Piratella. This is
Rolling down the hill into Acqua Minerale.
Oh, that looked like a...
He is throwing this round.
That was fast into Acqua Minerale. I laughed so hard then. My head's gone dizzy. But no purple sectors yet. Still no purples. This is intriguing, you know. Some of them were saying, I think it was Matthew Crisp said earlier in the chat, that the session is actually quicker near the beginning. So maybe it's getting more and more difficult to set a time. I mean, it shouldn't, because it's on afternoon settings, not morning, so it doesn't get hotter.
Yeah. No purples, but this does look quick.
It looks rapid,
I
doesn't
don't know
it?
if yeah, I don't know if it's just because, look, he's really using all the track. Compared to the Perry lap we stayed on board with, he's going all over the place. What is this going to be? It's looking fast on the time as well. 143, purple sector at the end. Where's he going to go? Boom!
Oh, 60 thousandths. 60 thousandths, though.
Straight up to the top of the
Oh.
times. 42.1. Well, there you go. We said it looked quick. It
Yeah,
was.
It was
That's
very,
why.
very quick. But interesting that was the only purple sector as well, you know. I mean, he didn't even do a personal best in Sector 2, so his out lap was faster than his flying lap in Sector 2. That really shows you. Now here is Jack Styles, his teammate in the championship. currently sitting 7th on 14 points. He's only 1 point off Pete Newman and Ben Gregory. Jack has really enjoyed getting to grips with this car. He's absolutely loving it at the moment.
Do you know what I've just spotted, Chaz?
Martin Kenyon's comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, 88 plus 22 is not
88
100.
and 22 is 110, people.
What is it you teach,
Clearly. Not maths.
Thank God for that.
Although, ironically, music has a lot of counting involved.
Oh.
But luckily, not to 110.
Yeah, you only count to 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Jack Styles, then, much like his teammate, very fast into Aqua Minerale, but look how they straight line that exit. I love it. Absolutely love it. The way they just sort of slide sideways. And, okay, Crispy has explained more. Thank you very much, Crispy. He says, as the rubber goes down, the track gets slower, which doesn't make sense, but is how it is. Yeah, it's iRacing. I actually read somebody's made a study on how Mario Kart's aerodynamic calculations are more accurate than iRacing's. And there's slipstreaming calculations. Like, oh, it's amazing. Anyway, Jack Styles is doing a lot of fast sectors here, but no purples so far. The second Ferrari driver to cross the line. Will he hope to put it on pole position? In 1997, Eddie Irvine put this car in 9th on the grid. Jack's going to hope to beat that. And he goes 4th, just behind Ed May. But still, he sort of fills that gap that we've got, doesn't he, between a number of the drivers there. Because Ed was a good 6/10 quicker than Hoffman, nearly. So, very, very intriguing. Apparently, the track temperature's going up again as well, Silas is saying. So, this might get even harder. Now, here is Pete Newman. Next up in the Benetton, the gorgeous, gorgeous Benetton. One of the best-looking cars on the grid. And let's not forget him and his teammate Cam Dance have been right up there all season, haven't they? Fighting for those wins, just not any of them coming for Pete yet, unfortunately.
I think we're going to see, like you said, I think we're going to see these guys now in the last phase of qualifying, regardless of temperature or rubber. I think we're going to see them start to fill that gap at the top, and there was a good 6/10 gap between May and Hoffman. Styles has filled that in nicely right in the middle. I think, obviously, some of these guys could go fastest, but I think we're going to start to see those gaps in the top end fill out now.
Yeah, definitely is. Again, no purple sectors here from Pete. But at the end of the day, that's conditions, that's weather. I can't control it. I'm not making it static. Shut up. Pete Newman currently going well, though. I mean, these laps by these guys, they are looking faster and faster as we get further up the order. You can see that they're pushing that little bit more. Maybe some of them are a bit more confident that if they do get a 1x and they do start further down the order, they have the capability to push through the pack and use the slipstream. But I think from what we've seen from the first 2 rounds, it's important, almost imperative, to be right up there in the top pack. A little bit of a lock-up by Pete, though, into the last couple of corners there. But this looks like a very, very decent lap, to be fair.
Yeah, let's see what he's going to do. It's ticks over the 40 zone. 42, 43. Low end 43.
Oh, he's done it.
That's because what the?
Wow.
It didn't count. Obviously, like you said, it keeps counting, doesn't it? 42-0.
Wow.
Newman on pole in the Benetton Renault. Is this his day?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We've got Ben Gregory next up in the second of the 2 Jordans. And this beautiful, beautiful car making its way around. Tamburello, nice and tidy there. Lovely stuff. Belly even kisses the curb as he comes through there into the Villeneuve chicane, not the Villeneuve chicane. Look at the snake on the front of that. Whoa, big hit on the curb. Dents the nose in a little bit. Not too bad, though. We've seen, actually, haven't we, that when the damage is like that, visually, it's not actually that bad, is it? The drivers barely feel it.
Nah, he won't feel that at all. He might lose a minuscule amount of time of drag. We've seen it in races quite regularly, but that gets negated by the slipstream and stuff and how close they all are. It could affect his qualifying when they're fighting for thousandths, but he just needs to keep it together now. Put this lap in. They're all yellows, so his outlap quicker all the way through. Morgan Butler was asking, what are the purples based off? That's not a racing driver question, Morgan. Come on. It's the fastest sector of anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's asking that because 4 of them were from him in his earlier lap.
Well, yeah. No one has. Only Kevin Zemstra has beaten any of Morgan's sectors so far, but just all round with tidier sectors, it seems that's why Newman's gone fastest. Now, there's a bit of cloud cover here for Gregory, This is one of the extra elements that you get. Sometimes the track does cool very, very quickly in iRacing. And it's gone down by 2 degrees Celsius so far, Jakub Szymanski is saying. Let's see what Gregory can do in the second of the Jordans. His teammate is currently 14th. Oh, wow. Ben goes down to 12th place, 1.7 seconds off. That is a big
cloud
surprise.
cover, that was.
Yeah.
That's the cloud cover, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.7. Tags on to the end of Perry there by a 10th.
Big surprise, though, that. I mean, we saw the Jordans didn't qualify very well at all at Phillip Island, but they both scored big points from the race. Now, this is a man...
He did have that big slide, though, big chunk of curve, didn't he? I think it might have cost him a lot of time through there.
Yeah.
I'll let you carry on with Mr. Blackhall, though, number 97.
Yeah, indeed. The man that was fastest in pre-season testing, the man that has been tipped to be the champion. He wasn't too chuffed after Interlagos, but he is back with us, and he is pushing. Jake was incredibly quick in qualifying. He was incredibly quick in the race, but spinning off on lap 1 at Interlagos really hurt his race chances. Purple sector 2 from the Williams driver. And look at this, he's using every inch of the road as he goes up to the top of the hill, uses all the runoff as well. Are we going to see any more purple sectors down the hill into Aqua Minerale? I'm expecting a big push from him through here. Nice and tidy all over the curb. I think he might have got away with that, you know. As long as all 4 wheels aren't on the green stuff. Yeah, absolutely belting. Chucks it in.
By a 1,000th as well from Morgan Butler's time. It's close.
Oh, this is so pushy. But this is what we expected, isn't it? This is what we saw at Interlagos. He was pushing like mad, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's really pushing it. And you can tell with the way the chat's going. People might say it's cloud cover and track temperature, but you can't argue that he's absolutely throwing this thing around for sure. As you said, tipped to be champion, 42.0 to beat. Are we going to see a 41? I think it's looking likely. Yeah. What's he going to do?
Surely. Oh!
41.6. 4 tenths of a second.
Wow. Hats off, Jake Blackhall. What a lap that was. That was an absolute peach of a lap, that, wasn't it? Wow. Love a bit of that. Here's Christian Rose in what looks like a replacement helmet for this round. It's just a solid white lid for me. But it looks like he's on a track day. It's like one of those things where those people get them experiences to drive a Formula 1 car, isn't it? They just rent a helmet for the day that's just white. Looks like Shifty's out on his holidays. But this gorgeous McLaren currently sits 3rd in the championship. McLaren leading... No, they're not actually leading the team's championship. They're 3 points behind Benetton, which just shows how close it is. But Christian's been one of the most consistent drivers this season, hasn't he? It's safe to say.
Yeah, he's a name we see up there. He gets involved in the fights. The McLaren's very much put on a show, I think in both of the last rounds, actually. They're up there. They're fighting. There's no team orders as of yet, I don't think. Maybe that'll change further into the season. You got 27 points for Rose, 51 points for Dance. It's still too early to call. You can't put team orders in, and they're all racing for themselves at this stage. Silas is who he should have his sights on at the moment. Who is, don't worry about my maths, I'm going to get this right. 9 points ahead.
Yes.
Silas is 9 points ahead. For sure, this time.
No purple sectors from Christian Rose this time, though, but I can tell you that based on Jake Blackhall's sectors, he's actually quicker than him. Oh, no, sorry, it's taken Jake's in-lap into account there, isn't it? So he's been going quickly at least, has Shifty, during this one. Across the line, he's going to go now. Pushing. Is he going to hug the wall on the right-hand side? He's going to hug the white line at least. This looks like a good time as well. Don't think it's going to be pole, but he'll be right up there. It is. Oh, wow.
7.
Wow, 7th place for Christian Rose. That is a big surprise. 1.1, nearly 1.2 seconds off the pace. That is, well, that puts him right amongst it, doesn't it? He's got Styles in front of him, May, Butler as well. Morgan Butler's time is standing strong in the Arrows so far, considering that team has got no points this season. That's beautiful to see from Morgan Butler. This is Christian Rose's teammate, though, Silas Kragvrolik, and he has been undoubtedly one of the most exciting drivers to watch this season, undoubtedly one of the fastest. Let's see what he can do with this qualifying lap. Is it going to be Banzai? Is it going to be reserved but tidy? We'll have to see. First sector is not a purple, though. He's going to be chasing very hard to try and beat Jake Blackhall. But that bright yellow and green lid, whoa, really running wide on the exit there. The big yellow and green lid certainly shining out. Purple sector 2 though, Jack.
It is a purple sector 2. Down to 21.6 in sector 1. That was 2 tenths faster than Christian Rhodes. So quite a lot faster for the first sector. He's gone 600ths faster than Christian. But compared to... Oh, we can't look at Jake's, like you said. It's counted his in lap. But it's in that same second. So 22.7 for sector 3. That's also 2 tenths faster than this is
fast.
Looking like yeah, it's looking like a strong lap. 22.7. Sector 4 is coming up to an end now. We've got 14.8. Ed May went quicker, as did Morgan Butler through that section, 2 tenths quicker, so he may have lost a bit through this last phase, but let's see how close this is going to be.
Uses quite a bit of the curb, but that's looking very, very good for Silas. Surely a front row spot between Blackhall and Newman. Is he going to do it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, second place. Just over a tenth slower, but still a phenomenal time by Silas. And then we come down to one more car. Cam Dance, championship leader. The New Zealander has been phenomenal so far. 2 race wins and 1 pole position from 2 races. What can he manage here?
We should go on board with this guy. What's he going to do?
I read your mind.
Yeah, read my mind. Got there straight away. For 100. Oh, glitched to 143 miles an hour. Hacks confirmed. No, 135 miles an hour into turn 1. So already quick on the exit of that final corner. Heading down now. Does he brake for this, or is it just a lift? Sounds like just a lift for that first left. Keeps it tidy through there, actually. Very smooth. Flies down the gears. Carries a lot more speed than the earlier lap that we saw. Nearly 10 miles an hour more, if I remember correctly. 123 was reached last time he was on board. Just over 125. Oh, look at that. Do you see that little loss of traction? Yeah, very nice. Down the hill he goes.
You could say the car is dancing.
Oh, no. Look, the camera is on Cameron. No? Right, here we go. Into the chicane. How twitchy is this going to be? Is he going to push straight down those gears? Chucks it in. Heard a little bit of slip on the tyres on the rear, but quite tidy. No purple sectors, though.
No.
Yet.
We'll have to see how he does into Rivatsa. Hard onto the brakes. You could hear that the car wanted to lock up. The revs were dropping. But this looks tidy from Cam Dance. Back end steps out a little bit round the final corner. Is he going to knock Jake Blackhall off the top spot? If he is, that means either of them are going to get their second pole position of the season. And across the line it is... Wow, Jake Blackhall takes his second pole position of the season. Cam Dance, car 6 will start P6. Morgan Butler 5th. Take a bow, son. Ed May finishes 7th. Wow. Fantastic session, though. Once again, nice and tight all the way down the order. I mean, all you've got to do is look at, well, I mean, 8th even all the way down to 13th is less than a second. But you've got Hoffman and Werrell within the same 10th, then Hasse Raymer and John Tusting in the same 10th. That is mighty, mighty close. We will take a look at the session results in just a mo. And, well, we can all certainly enjoy a bit of a warm-up session now where the drivers will just get back out on track and potentially just see how they feel after that one. But, wow, that was incredibly, incredibly close, was it not? That is Jake Blackhall's second, I'll get the right camera, second pole position of the season, which earns him a championship point. He's going to be starting against the spoiler in the pack, though, Silas Craig Vrolik in the McLaren. Pete Newman will be happy with 3rd. Kevin Zemstra will be very happy with 4th, to be honest. And then speaking of being happy with it, flipping out, Morgan Butler in 5th. That puts him in a great position to earn some solid championship points today, doesn't it, Jack? Because his best qualifying before this, if I just look down the results, was 10th place at Phillip Island. He qualified 14th at Interlagos. So, yeah, fantastic session by Morgan. GG.
He needs to keep his head cool in the race. He needs to make some smart decisions. It's a long race, but he's got a lot of points on the cards right now.
And I forgot to set a warm-up session, so we're going to go straight into the race. So you've seen the grid there, pretty much as is anyway. So it's going to be very, very feisty. Look out for Jack Werrell as well, starting in the middle of the field. He's going to be certainly entertaining, but we've got 3 drivers at the back, Craig Evans, Martin Kenyon, and Jakub Szymanski, that have not set times. So we may see them push very, very hard indeed from the
I'm
off.
picking Jack Werrell. That's my driver to watch.
So when Jack
I've
crashes...
decided. Blame me, but
Yeah.
that's who I'm going for.
Oh, look at that grid. Oh, from that angle, Imola-wise, look at that grid. Oh,
Looks good,
that's
doesn't it?
nostalgia.
Williams on pole, McLaren second,
And then,
Benetton third, Ferrari fourth.
then you've got... It's just a shame the Jordans are a bit far back because they were right up there in 97. But look at, like... I mean, just looking at that now, that shows you how realistically we've done this with pre-season testing. Like, I think that sorted it out pretty well. That looks like a realistic 1997 grid. We're waiting for Jakub Szymanski to take to the back. He's going to be the last car to take to the grid, but he's got a little bit of time yet before the session starts. But this is certainly going to be an intriguing getaway because right down to turn 1, the drivers straight away go to the left. So all of the drivers on the inside of the grid, our right-hand side, their left-hand side, might be at a slight advantage. Let's see how it goes then. As
I think Szymanski just made it. I was trying to listen to the... I zoned out a bit then because I'm listening to driver chat, but yeah, I think he's in. I think I've just seen him pop up at the back of the grid.
yeah, he is just there. The only driver that's sort of off on an angle by the look of it, really. I think Martin Kenyon might be on a slight angle as well. The gridding process is taking a mighty long time, though, for some reason. Everyone is on the grid, but it's all just sort of sitting there waiting. There's no lights coming on yet, which is very, very strange.
I can go and run down to the paddock and have a look. Hang on.
Yeah. Very, very intriguing. But we've got...
I believe...
yeah. Here we go.
Jakub, as an admin, extended it just for someone to make it back.
Okay.
And now it's starting.
Here we go then. Round 3 of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship from Imola is underway. Looks like Hasse Raymer's lit up the tyres in the background. And look at that straight away. Pete Newman down the inside of Silas Craig-Vrolik takes second place. A lot of them single file, although 3 wide in the middle. There's a Minardi ahead of a Ferrari there. That's John Tusting, who's overtaken Jack Stiles and Ben Hoffman off the start. Looking a little bit further back for some shenanigans. Looks like Hasse Raymer is off the road. Hasse's had a spin. Not sure if he got any help from that. But look at that. Jake Blackhall, beautiful start straight away. Kevin Zemstra lost a spot to Cam Dance, who's gained 2 places. Jack Stiles is off. Ben Hoffman's off. Ben Hoffman's off, and he's in the wall. He clouts the end of the barrier. Biggest mover, though, is John Tusting so far. He's actually gained 4 spots from the very beginning. We've got Rob Lundgren off the road as well. Arrows were hoping to get their first points in this race. But look what's starting already. This massive train at the front. Morgan Butler's had a bit of a nightmare start as well, actually. He's dropped 3 places. But this is where everybody's going to start to stick together now. We'll go on board and show you the chaos.
Yeah, he is still in the race. Importantly for Butler, it's not all over yet. He can see everyone in front of him. We know what people are like, so what can happen? The only one that's come off really bad there is Hoffman. So he is into the pits after a contact like that. Very close, Butler, into the back of the McLaren of Rose. Didn't touch him. Good stuff. We've got Ferrari. That's Jack Stiles making moves. So he's getting back past John Tusting there, who, like you said, had a flying start as they come down into this right-hander. Butler's pulling over. That'll be a slowdown. So he's had to let a few people go. So his day starts getting undone. But again, he's still in the train. Needs to keep his head cool. Where is Mr. Werrell? He's just got up into P10. So he is also past Butler. Butler's still serving that slowdown, I think. That's not damage.
No.
He must have got that from somewhere earlier in the lap. Didn't quite see it. Pete Newman, P2, is closing Blackhall. That gap looks bigger than that at the start of this lap. And the McLaren of Silas there, still Cameron Dance is up into P4. Kevin Zwemstra there in P5. And Ed May holding on in P6 in the Sauber. That top 7 looking to break away, I think, from the Ferrari of Stiles. He probably got held up a little bit when he was trying to get past Tusting, who's now got Werrell chasing him down. This is Nguyen in the Jordan getting passed by Adam Hedgecock, I think, in the Sauber as they go towards the S section. There's a Lola there. That's Martin Kenyon. in P17. So he's having a little fight with a few people. Oh, Adam Hedgecock off, keeps it. Oh, that could have been disastrous for some of those cars on the outside, but well held, that man, Adam Hedgecock in the Sauber Petronas.
I just want to see John Tusting start because he had a fantastic getaway. Now, Hasse Raymer on the right-hand side is not going to go anywhere when the lights go out, unfortunately, but John nailed the reaction, and look at that launch. Mugs off Werrell, and then look, Jack Stiles and Ben Hoffman don't go anywhere, so he goes, thanks very much. What a fantastic getaway for John Tusting. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We'll have a look at what happened to Hasse Raymer. So he's going through. Oh, just loses it. I think he just tried to avoid Rob Lundgren through that part. Hoffman as well went off in this one, didn't he? You can see Hasse there in the background. Bends through the chicane. Oh, it's already going. Yeah, he's just had a twitch, hasn't he? And then Lundgren went off after that. I think, did he just lose it on the brakes as well himself? It seems like slow speed. Yeah, look, those downshifts, they really do catch these cars out. We've got...
Slow speed, more fuel.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. We've had a little moment for... Ben Hoffman's coming back out, actually. We had a moment for Jack Werrell. He has lost a position from where he started now. Tim Perry's behind him. Ben Hoffman has stopped. Oh, no, I think he's just letting cars through. But look at this train at the front. Once again, Jack, we have this fantastic battle starting. Zemstra's in 5th, but he's within touching distance of the leader, as is here in the Formula 1 World Championship. Yeah, so he's sizing up Cam Dance here in the Benetton. He's looking for weaknesses. It's all a mind game at this point. He wants to be just working out any small mistakes, anywhere that he's gaining time on Dance in front of him. He looks to be losing it a little bit up the hill, and I imagine he's going to close in the late sector, or maybe the straight is just keeping him in. It's a long straight. Oh, brakes a lot nicer through Acqua Minerale, so he closes that gap right up again towards the chicane. He's going to have a nice toe. It's going to be right up the backside of that Ferrari. And then into the chicane they go. I can't believe how much ground Butler lost for that slowdown. What a slide from Zwemstra. That's going to make him vulnerable there, though. Is this going to be a move in the Sauber for Ed May? He's being forced to go around the outside. He's going to have to send it down the inside. This is downhill, though. You can't brake too late. Very lock-up susceptible there in that left-hander. Is that a word? It is now. Yeah, I'd say so.
Toby Ward in the Minardi Hart, getting attacked by 3 drivers behind. Lola trying to hold on. That's Kenyon still. He's in 19th. So he's lost a few places there to Szymanski and Hedgecock. As I think I saw someone swap over at the top end. It was Newman and Silas going side by side. Turn 1. Silas holds on.
Nice stuff by the McLaren driver. He's got Cam Dance in 4th place as well there to sort of back up his teammate. As all, we've got a car off. It is a Werrell. He's back on, though. Not sure if he got any help there, but he wasn't off for very long. Tim Perry's going well at the moment, by the way. The two Prosts that we didn't have with us at Interlagos. Tim Perry's gained 4 places. Craig Evans has gained 6 so far. Little battle going on in the background there as well. That's Toby Ward side by side with Adam Hedgecock. Hedgecock round the outside, but he's on the inside for Villeneuve, and he's off the circuit for Villeneuve. You could see that one coming a little bit there, couldn't you? He really threw that in. As Lundgren now has a look.
Lundgren on the back of him now. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I think I won't say over optimistic because he looked like he had it done, but I think with just the sheer sort of throw into the next corner, you could just hear it understeer and off he went. He kept it together though. We're seeing a lot of snaps. It's a weird car where you don't know whether it's going to understeer or oversteer, but either way, it's really hard to keep the momentum going if you have that little break of traction. But so far, everyone doing well to keep it out of the wall, apart from Mr. Hoffman.
Great stuff to see from his teammate, though. Jake Blackhall is really showing his class in this race so far. Yes, this straight may be keeping people together, but he's starting to open up a gap gradually on that infield, isn't he? The sort of twistier section away from this long straight. He's doing a mega job of it. The gap is coming down. It's about 0.3 to 0.4 that you gain down there, but it's that long and it's not that straight that it's actually difficult to get a move done there. So Jake is that quick over the rest of the lap that he's sort of negating it. Tim Perry has carried on moving forward. He's hoping to get into the points here and overtake John Tusting, who's having a good race of his own. That start was unbelievable. It was nuclear from John Tusting. He nailed it as soon as the lights went out. Who else has gained places? Carl Newen, he's having a good showing so far. He's gained 4 places. His teammate Ben Gregory has gained 3 places. So some solid drives so far, but at the front, it looks like Pete Newman's starting to go backwards a little bit here, you know. He qualified 3rd. He gained 2nd place straight away from Silas, but then he's not been able to hold on to it, actually. His teammate now started to put him under pressure, so they need to start thinking about this together. As Jack Stiles is off in the Ferrari. No. Ferrari's home turf, essentially.
Smart. Don't often see that. He reversed. He was going to spin round, and then he reversed and did a 3-point turn instead of come out in front of that traffic. He's already got a bent wing there as he comes into the head. Mounts too much of the curb. Unsettles the car. Round he goes. Fast uphill left that was, so not surprised the car broke away a little bit. Silas right on the back of Blackhall again. And like you said, 4 attempts. This is going to be close. I don't know if Blackhall's made a mistake. They were last lap 9 attempts when they exited this corner, and it was 4.5 by the time they got to turn 1.
Yes.
It doesn't look like... Oh, where's he going to go? Left or right? Blackhall's going to have to defend. Is Silas going to send it around the outside?
No,
he's lifted.
Yeah, he's
actually
lifted.
just staying.
Yeah.
So doesn't want to fight yet. He just wants to stay here and watch. And is that smart with those 2 behind?
Yeah, I was thinking that, you know. I was thinking maybe he wants to just back this up and keep the other guys in the fight, but I'm not sure. Aidan Millward in the chat as well. Good to see you, buddy. Saying it exactly how it is. Piratella plus curb equals die. Yes, very much so, mate. Very much so. You are absolutely right. Now, these boys, I tell you what, these are having a right old ding-dong, these lot further back. Martin Kenyon, John Toby Ward and Adam Hedgecock. Whoa, so close. Toby Ward squeezes that car down the inside. Gap the size, as David Addison would call it, of a Nat semi-crotchet. Rob Lundgren down the inside. Oh, Lundgren's the one that loses out. He did make it 3 wide, and I think you have to say he paid the price. Ward had to turn in at some point to avoid contact with Hedgecock, but I think that was kind of inevitable. You don't go 3 wide into there.
No, it's a fast corner. It's not even, as we heard in qualifying, it doesn't sound like it's a braking zone. It sounded like just a lift. We've seen cars go side by side through there. Just having another look at it. It looks like, I mean, the car turned in, but at the same time, yeah, you can see it on your screens now for the 2nd time. So 2 cars side by side.
Oh, how on earth?
It's hard to call that. It's really hard to call.
How on earth did he not hit Hedgecock, though? Like, how on earth did he not hit Hedgecock? Oh, I think Tusting's just had a slowdown, by the way, through the chicane. And Werrell, well, Werrell's going all right, to be fair. He's doing a good job. We're at 3rd race distance already, but Werrell's going strong here. He started 11th. He's got up into the points. I think he'd be very happy to get points on his debut. But once again, Jack, the main battles that we've got going on are right at the front, although Silas has lost a lot of time through Tamburello there.
Oh, they're all over the back of him, those Benettons. Newman is looking to gain, and that is bringing this fight, is bringing Zwemstra right into it. Lindgren's in the pits after that incident, no surprise. But yeah, this fight, I'm interested. I don't know. I wonder if they're just waiting for the pit stop phase to start making their moves. Oh, chaos down here. That's Evans off. I don't know if Kenyon was involved, but he looked like he was going slow on the exit of there.
Yeah, it looked like Kenyon had had a spin at some point. Evans carries way too much speed through.
Ooh, Styles was lucky then.
And then Kenyon, I think, has done the same.
Done the same thing. Sympathy spin.
Oh, no, actually.
Okay.
Fair play. Good save. Very good save. It has to be said.
What I liked about that was the little dab of the brakes, front right lock up, straighten the car right up, off he goes.
Yeah, I love it. Well, they call it the 2-foot save, don't they, where you just slam your foot on the brake and on the throttle and just see what the car does. It seemed like he had a bit of that there, Kenyon. He was smart enough to do it. And Christian Rose has even got into this fight as well now, you know, in 7th place. So if we go on board with Shifty again, this is what we've seen so far all season. I say all season, it's only been 2 races. But Boremula 1 has not disappointed at all, because all season you just get this. You just get a massive train for the lead. The pace is so high at the top end of this championship. These guys are all so close in terms of their ability. It's beautiful racing, because they are all in a massive train. Now, I was hoping that this would maybe split up a little bit more, but right now, Jake's having to work so hard at the front, but he's held on to the lead so far. He's been doing a mega job, it has to be said. But the guys behind, I mean, look at that. It's ridiculous. They're all being kept in it. Morgan Butler is very much in no man's land. He's got 5 seconds either side of him, but he's in 8th. He's in the points, and it's going to be the team's first points of the season if he finishes there.
And he was looking quick, so I don't think catching that train is out of the question, especially if they're all doing this little lift-off trick. I don't know if they're trying to fuel save, actually, to minimise their pit stop times. I think we're going to start seeing more of that throughout the season. They started clocking it in the last round. Those that have to fill up less, then the pit stop time is less. So it just sort of makes sense. But it's turning into, with the amount they're doing it and backing off this amount of people, it's turning into an oval type race in probably one of the twistier circuits on iRacing.
It's very, very odd, isn't it? Very, very odd. We've had an issue for Martin Kenyon, unfortunately. He's just been off the road as we see a very feisty battle between Craig Evans and Toby Ward. Martin might have just overdone it in the Villeneuve chicane. Yeah, you can see the car got away. And again, fantastic save to let that thing not spin or go in a wall. Look at this.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I thought I caught the moment where it was just about to happen, but Toby Ward and Craig Evans having a right old scrap.
Oh. He lost the traction on the exit, but that was, great send.
Toby's gone somewhere, actually. Craig has overtaken him just after this. Let's have a look what happened here.
Get it back.
It's gone down the inside.
Ooh, into the left-hander.
And Toby's just... What's happened here? Is he going to try come in a rally and lose out? Because he was 2.7 seconds off the corner after this. Ah, yeah. Whoa! My God!
Big lock-up.
Mate. Toby, mate, what a save, and how he didn't hit Craig there, I don't know. That was ridiculous. These boys are getting good. We've got cars in the pits now. Khan Newen, Adam Hedgecock, Hasse Raymer and Jakub Szymanski. All of them have been in amongst it further down the order. They're just getting the pit stop out of the way here on lap 9, but yeah, these lot, once again, providing the entertainment at the front, but a bit of a stalemate this time, a bit more of a stalemate at least than we've seen in previous races.
We've got a long way to go. I think they're making the conscious decision to keep this together, to be honest. No one is challenging, and I think it's all strategy. I think the second half of the race, it's all going to change. And for your sake, I hope they don't do the waiting until the last lap, because we all know what last lap shenanigans can be like. I mean, it's racing. These boys are going to be going at it. It's a tight race. They're 9 laps in. We're approaching. We're not far away. We're approaching lap 10, so nearly halfway through this race. And these boys are separated by nothing. You got Werrell, who's closing in on Perry, I think. He's only 1.8 seconds behind, so there's more points on the table there. Butler, like you said, is in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. I think he might struggle to close this gap to these guys unless they all start really fighting hard. But at the moment, they're all playing it smart and keeping themselves in the fight.
Yeah, that's it. They're all braking very early, saving a lot of fuel. That's why they go for longer. Now, here are 2 of the very bottom teams from 1997 fighting together. This is great to see, isn't it? Those 2 coming over the hill. Martin Kenyon to the right-hand side of Toby Ward. He's going to try and go around the outside at Rivazza. Toby gives him the space. Lovely racing by the pair of them. Toby's got the inside. Martin gives him the room. Toby runs him out. Jack makes a weird noise, and we carry on. Fantastic stuff. Look at this. We'll go wheel to wheel down the straight. Where is he? Where is he? He's there. He's there somewhere. Phenomenal stuff. This is what you love to see, and this is the thing with these cars. When you get used to how these cars behave, you can race like this. You can do it around the outside into Tamburello. Martin Kenyon gets it done. Now, what's Toby got in his locker to come back at him? Tries to go around the outside on the exit. Martin doesn't quite run him out of room. The overlap's back again. Is he going to be around the outside at the start of the Villeneuve chicane to get the inside for the second bit? Toby Ward goes back in front. Brilliant stuff. Now, does Martin get the run to Tosa? Yes, he does. Martin then goes around the outside. He's going to try and go later on the brakes and get a cutback here, is Kenyon. Watch this. Back up the hill. He's going to get in the slipstream. He's going to try and get alongside him up towards Piratella. He finds the gap on the right. This is epic racing.
I can't. I'm just watching. I've become
love it. Piratella around the outside and Martin Kenyon does it. That's fantastic racing, gents. Absolutely fantastic racing. As Toby's late on the brakes. Oh, my God. Wow. Oh,
They've
God.
really kept that together, and now look what's happening at the top. The people starting to try and make their moves. I'm guessing pit stop phase is coming because this fight has started to heat up. You got May there chasing Zemstra, looking to get past. The two Benettons have not swapped over yet, so they are staying where they are. Silas came under pressure there from both of them. Lundgren has already given his media pen interview. He said the car felt good today, track was great, it's just one of those things. And they just have to dig deeper and bring the car home in the points in the next race. So I think that's him. That car's done, out. They couldn't get it fixed. But look at this train. Who's going to make the move first? I reckon some of them. If I was in this train, it's tough because the slipstream's strong. But I'd want to pit now and try and get out and put a storming outlap in. But I'd want someone to pit with me, so I've got a little bit of a tow.
Yeah,
who's going to go first?
And it's important to have that reference as well, so you know roughly where you are in terms of the battle. Now, one thing to think about, though, is that a number of these guys that are sat behind, they're braking earlier than they normally would. You know, they're lifting a lot more than they normally would, so they're not at their ultimate pace. Jake Blackwell is the only one here that's actually pushing the air properly and really putting the times in. So any of these guys could just pit a lap earlier than the guys ahead of them. And like you say, Jack, very rightly so, put in a storming outlap and crack on. Oh, Tim Perry's gone off at the chicane. Prost driver was having a great race, up 5 places. He's just lost a couple more.
There he goes. I reckon the two Benettons are going to come in together.
Yeah?
I would assume that they're in chat at
Well,
some point. Unless they're going to come in with everyone, but then it's just going to keep the race going. I think if they wanted to break away, they should probably come in together on the opposite strategy. Maybe they'll go a lap longer with the fuel saving than the two in front.
yeah.
But like you said, Blackwell's pushing the air. I think he might be the one to call this.
Yeah, we've seen Jake try and pit a lap earlier than the others before, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it in this situation, especially being the lead car right now. Ben Gregory's just overtaken John Tusting to get into the points. Not seen much of Ben in this race, as Ed May sends one up the inside of Kevin Zemstra. He's decided that, right, we're getting on with it now. The Petronas-branded Ferrari engine in the back of the Sauber doesn't quite have the punch up the hill. He lights up the rears, though, and slightly steps out the back end, but it looks like Ed May is the first one to think, right, boys, we need to make some shuffles here. We need to get on with this. And he's showing his hand, but look what it's done. That little push and that little moment, just trying to dig deep and use those tyres up. It's just pushed him back a little bit there from Zemstra, and Silas has dropped off nearly a second from Jake Blackwell this lap.
Yeah,
so Jake's
I saw
flying.
a purple sector too, but it's disappeared for some reason, so I don't know if someone else.
Sorry, Newman was trying it. Newman was trying to put Silas off. Now, don't forget, Jake Blackwell, Pete Newman, and Christian Rose, all part of Pure Sims, so they'll all be in chat together. You know, they're not all in the same teams, but they might be working together here. There might have been a bit of, oh, Pete, can you just send one up the inside of Silas? You know, get him out of my toe from Jake. We'll have to see. We're over half race distance now, lap 12, and still no pit stop from Jake. No pit stops from any of them by the look of it, so still, it ticks over another lap. Bit further down the order, this is Ben Gregory and Jack Stiles. Jack trying to recover after that spin through Piratella earlier. Gregory's got a bit deep, but this is a hell of a battle to look at, isn't it? Ferrari versus Jordan. That's very nostalgic. Love it. All of this is. I love it. As Gregory pits, Gregory's in.
Yeah, so the Ferrari goes past, as does John Tustin in the Minardi and Tim Perry in the Prost. Purple sector from Ed May. They really are. That front train is pushing now. Their pace seems to have ramped up a bit. I don't know if that's if Jake's just turned it up and they're all following suit. But there are purple sectors being set quite a lot at this end now. But fluctuating, obviously, because they're all staying in the trains. Someone's getting a purple sector 1, a different person's getting purple sector 2. It's all over the shop. But I can't call this. But who's in chat? Who's still in chat these days? Come on. Who's going to win this race out of these 7? 8, if Morgan Butler catches up. But 7 at the moment in this top train.
Now, Pete Newman's just gone very deep at Aqua Minerale. I'm wondering whether... I don't think he'll get a slowdown for that. I think he's got away with it, but his teammate Cam Dance, you can see that bright green, shiny visor looking very, very ominous, but Cam's in the box seat right now. He's got a good points advantage over all of these drivers around him, so he can sit there and he can just score solid points. That's all he needs to do. He can just wait for his opportunity to come to him. He doesn't need to push. He's got his teammate ahead. They're leading the team's championship. This is great situation for Cam to be in, you know. He's got drivers behind that don't want to attack too much. I mean, Ed May might want to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, but we go another lap without a pit stop for these guys. Morgan's actually gone further backwards from all of this, so it seems like that gap is growing. The Benettons go side by side, but importantly, they're side by side for the lead. Still has Craig Vrolick round the outside of Jake Blackhall. Jake breaks later, though. Turns in, gets it done. What about the battle behind, though?
Well.
Oh, there's contact, I think, between the two, and Pete Newman's off. Oh, into team contact, I think, there.
Well, I don't like to see that, not at all. Not with two teammates, especially when they were doing so well in the teams championship. But it looks like this will be the pit lap then, because both of them at the same time pulled out to make that move. There he goes. And look at how he comes back on. Look, nearly spins.
Yeah, I'm not sure Pete
little things.
I'm not sure Pete left the room on the inside there. Being honest with you, I think that Cam Dance was on the curb, but look, Pete's steering's broken as well. That'll be why he nearly spun it. That is absolutely devastating for Pete, so we can expect to see him in this lap. He's going to lose a lot of time. That is sketchy through there. But, yeah, I mean, looking at it there, it looked like Cam was on the apex, and Pete just turned in, didn't leave the room. Silas is all over the back of Jake. He's really showing his form from the previous races now. But look, even though there's a car missing from this fight, there's not a gap in it still. They're all still right together. And Osiek RC put, I think Newman will finish top, literally as that happens. So he's very much jinxed it there. Jake Blackhall still holds on. I think they're going to pit now, Jack. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they all turned it up. Silas went for a move. Dance went for a move. Oh, look at that. In he goes, and Silas stays out. So Blackhall pulls it. And that's that's the other McLaren that's coming. Christian Rose. Newman, obviously. Butler is... Look at Butler now, caught right up. So he is going to have someone to fight in this last phase of the race. So 2/3 of the way through. But now you've got this little top 4 breakaway. Is the slipstream going to be strong enough for them to pull a gap on Blackhall and Rose?
4 different manufacturers as well here. We've got the McLaren leading the Benetton, then the Ferrari, and then the Sauber of Ed May. Ed's been great in this race. You know, he was a real surprise for us at the first race at Phillip Island. He led most of the race as well, but then had an incident later on which dropped him way, way down. I think he finished 10th and got the last point in that race. He did. He finished 12th. Sorry, you get points down to 12th. I don't know why I've been on about 10. So Gregory is in the points at the moment. Craig Evans is in the pits with a damaged front wing on his Prost. But Jack Stiles goes through. So where did Jake Blackhall and all of the rest of them come out then? So let's have a look. Jake is here. He's got Christian Rose within a second of him. He's about half a second back. So the top 6 are the only ones that haven't pitted at the moment. All the way down to Tusting have not pitted yet. We've had a moment for Jakob.
Pushed in. He did the purple sector 3.
Oh. So he's on the move. This is Jakub Szymanski having a moment down to Rivazza. Oh. Ooh, hello. That was a frustrating slide, that. Now let's see what these guys do. Yeah, they know instantly we need to all come into the pits, and they do. Ed May's looking to try and get past.
Ed was going to do that. He is going to do it.
Oh, he's hit him. Oh, Ed. Ed, boy.
The pit lane is the racetrack, I guess.
Oh, mate.
I wonder if he got it stopped. If he gets a time penalty, he'll be screwing. 100%.
Oh.
Jack Stiles has just set a purple sector. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong.
Yeah, he has. Sector 2.
He's gone fastest.
He's flying. I think maybe he's got enough of a gap to Gregory in front of him where he doesn't need to sort of back out of anything. You know, he can just push and use the slipstream to his advantage. So here,
where are these guys?
Yeah,
come on, then.
Here
Jake
comes Blackhall. Cam Dance is ahead of Silas Craig Vrolick. Wow, it looks like the gap's big.
Close. Yeah. But they're going to have more speed, Chaz, as they go towards turn 1. Oh, do they have all past them? Ed May's just there. The Blackhall passes Ed May, as does Rose. Oh, just about. Is Ed May going to hold it around the outside? He's on the inside for the next bit. Oh, and he goes off. It's so hard to give room round turn 2. It's so hard, but they have survived. And Dance is leading the way.
Well, the top 2 in the championship, these 2 have finished 1st and 2nd in the last 2 races, and i.e. all of the races so far in this championship. So they lead the way again. 5 laps to go after this. There's no foul play really in this one this time. Pete Newman is about 6 seconds off Christian Rose. So he lost a lot of time, obviously, on that in-lap with the damage, and that's what's affected him most. Jack Stiles and Ben Gregory. Jack Stiles used to be Ben Gregory's team manager at Texsense Fitstye Motorsport. Jack is now in front of him with Tim Perry just ahead. Morgan Butler still in 8th place. He's not got much of a gap ahead to Pete Newman. but he's got 15 seconds back to Perry. So Morgan has certainly shown that he's got good pace here today. He's on for, I believe, 5 championship points, but we need to keep our eyes on this now. Cam Dance has won every race so far this season, Jack. Is Silas finally going to stop him? Is Kevin Zemstra going to bring Jake Blackhall into this as well? The two of them are right together as they go down the hill once more.
Oh, Zemstra went a little bit deep then. Oh, he's gone wide again. Look at that. Now he's going to be very vulnerable. I heard someone come through on the radio making a very squealy noise. I don't know if that was Zemstra or someone else.
Oh, I think Craig Evans.
Slipstream.
Craig Evans has been off, and then Martin Kenyon's been off as well. They're side by side in front of us for the lead. And that's Silas Kragrolic going into the lead.
Up the inside. He's done it up the inside. These two still quite close. So Blackhall obviously got the move done on Zemstra. Really close on the exit. Is Zemstra going to try and get it back into this fast left? It's a risky one, but they're going to try and do it. Oh, bit of a touch there. And they're going to... Oh, no! Blackhall runs him out on the exit, bounces and survives, and Zemstra loses out. Spins round. He needs... I hope that he hasn't got damage, because he needs to keep that car in the race at this phase.
Yeah, Jake really, he pushed it, didn't he? He tried to get back on it through the second part. He's very lucky to have got away with that. I think a lot of the time the problem for Jake is the ping. You know, he is in Australia and he does have about 300 ping sometimes with these lot. It's no fault of his own, obviously, but sometimes the closer racing, there was contact on the way in as Pete Newman's now gone off. Pete Newman's off up the top of the hill. Let's have another look, though, at exactly what happened here with Jake Blackhall and Kevin Zemstra.
You can see the Ferraris firmly on the inside. Bit of a touch there.
Oh.
And then, yeah, just on the power, runs into the Ferrari. Ferrari goes round. Ed May says, thank you. I'll come through. And now Blackhall with a heap of damage to deal with. Dancer's half a second down from Silas now. May and Blackhall have swapped. Oh, sorry, I think something's happened to May because he's dropped down the order. He was ahead of Blackhall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jake Blackhall has got ahead of Ed May here. Let's have a look. Oh, he loses the back end. Oh, Jake waits for him. Oh, the back end goes again.
There it goes.
Yeah. Oh, gutting for Ed May. He was on for a podium finish there. You never know. He could still get it back with the slipstream. I mean, this is what's going on now, though. Morgan Butler and Kevin Zemstra right together. Morgan's on the outside into Tambirello. Oh, he came over a little bit on the brakes there. Maybe to try and scare Kevin. Kevin's not scared, though, when he goes through. Oh, Morgan's just binned it. Morgan just dipped the left rear wheel on the grass. Manages to carry on. He's got a big gap back to Pete Newman, but that's going to disappear when Pete's doing about double the speed of him.
Yeah.
Pete goes through.
The fly past.
Yeah, through he goes. Even further back, we've got Jack Stiles, Ben Gregory, and John Tusting still in the points in that Minardi. Very well done. But look at the front. Guess who? Cam Dance and Silas Kragrolic. Jake Blackhall's about 3 seconds back on this, so we've not got the train that we normally have, but we've got the top two still fighting for the top 2 positions, Jack. It's unbelievable. How do these boys carry on being up there?
Oh, they must be having a whale of a time, to be fair. And if it continues like this for the rest of the season, I mean, they've shown respect. They're exciting drivers to watch. Twitchy cars. It's just really tight fighting, and we've seen such close finishes in both races. And I feel like we're going to see another one. We've got 3 laps to go. We're approaching lap 19 out of 21. Has Silas got it in the bag, or is Cam Dance gonna steal another one in the last phase? It's a long straight. I reckon he's going to spend the next couple of laps working out just how close he needs to be to cross that line first in the slipstream.
Got a good battle with 2 of my good mates further down the order. Craig Evans, the Scot, who is currently, I believe, streaming this race. One of our wonderful friends in chat earlier said he wasn't streaming tonight, but I believe he is. Jack Werrell, newcomer to the championship, out of the points at the moment, I'm afraid, but he's looking to get back up there. Big sideways moment. Great awareness by Craig to avoid him. But my God, what a great fight they're having as well. Very lively indeed. Ed May and Christian Rose are getting a bit friendly as well. Ed May's down the inside. Christian says, "No, I don't want any of that. Sod that for a game of soldiers." Ed May goes up into 4th. But I think really Christian just playing it safe right now, thinking we need to just stay in Jake's slipstream. Jake he's closing a couple of tenths a lap as... Oh, no. Oh.
That is very big.
Oh, that car is broken. That car is very broken, look. I think that is going to be the end of Jack Werrell's race unless he can drag that back.
Bring it home.
That
Go
looks
to
like
the end.
that looks like what Morgan's car did at Phillip Island, does it not? This is what happened. Is Craig going to lose it and Jack's going to go in? Oh!
Nice.
Oh, that tap, though. That tap broke the suspension on Jack's car. And then look who benefits from it. Jakub Szymanski, Jack's teammate. Yeah, unfortunately, Jack has parked it. That's so upsetting.
Someone
Poor
needs
old
to
Jack.
clip that and put the like Swan Lake or ballerina music over the top of it or something. Very in sync. This is Ben Hoffman. Oh, they're so violent. The
Yeah, that's the word. That's what I've been looking for. They're violent. They are violently twitchy, aren't they?
Yeah. Some of these saves have been absolutely incredible to watch. Like, well, not even the saves. Some of the spins. It's just been, it really throws the drivers around. Under pressure a little bit.
Interesting.
Mr. Craig Rollick.
Sorry, but Jake Blackhall has lost 2 places to Ed May here. I think Jake might have overdone it in the chicane, maybe. Oh, no.
Yeah.
He loses it on the way in. I think he's taking
Yeah.
too much curb, and then he's going to get a slowdown from that.
I was going to say earlier they're going to have to take advantage. It did look like Ed was closing, and he's clearly got a wounded car as Blackhall from earlier. But he's going to hold on to these two. He might still get some positions back, but these two need to fight tooth and nail, I think, to the end to try and keep him behind.
And one thing you've got to consider here as well is, unlike at other circuits where you want to come out of the final corner in second place, here you don't have enough slipstream, enough of a run to overtake somebody before the line. So I'm pretty sure that, depending on the run, whoever gets the lead out of the final corner out of these pair is going to win this race, as if they don't crash into each other. Still, as Craig Rollick leads it, though, only 2/10 ahead of Cam Dance. It's about 4/10 right now, though, as they break that timing beam, and Still smacks the curb, loses it.
Ooh.
Now, is that going to be a slowdown for either of them?
Yeah, Cam went quite wide on the exit.
Yeah, he did.
As well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now. He's got damaged wing, as Silas.
That was a massive hit, wasn't it? We can't go back and see a replay of that, unfortunately, because it didn't count it as like an accident or anything. It's, oh no! Ed May's off. Ed May spun it from a podium position on this part of the circuit again.
For the second time today, yeah.
Oh, Ed. I really hope he didn't get any help. Well, it doesn't look like he's going to get any help from here. Just a little bit late in on the brakes. Back end gets away. Clips the grass. Oh, that's so gutting, Ed. So gutting. Now Silas and Cam are fighting side by side over the curves. Final lap of the race already, Jack. This is flown by once more, but again we have an epic final lap battle to take us to the flag. Ben Gregory's been off as well, by the way. He's in the last points place now.
It's going to be tight through here.
Oh. Now that might be the last overtaking opportunity here, you know. But look how close the guys behind are as well. Jake Blackhall and Christian Rose have gained 1.5 seconds in the first 2 sectors. This isn't over, Jack. I'm telling you, mate, this is not over yet. And I think we both know it as well based on previous races.
Yeah, he really needs to hold on to Silas because he needs to be right there to get an overtaking opportunity in any of these corners. Don't think he's going to try it into Minerale, but if he can get a better exit, I don't know how much that wing is hindering him. He does look like he's got a good exit there. I don't know if it's enough. Is he going to have a look into the chicane? He pulls out, pulls back behind. Maybe he thinks, nah, final corner's the one. Bounces over the curb, tries to get a better exit. They both go a little bit wide. I'm not sure if that was wide enough for a slowdown, as Toby Ward's had an issue, but this is it. Final lap, final 2 corners coming up. Final overtaking opportunity into this downhill right. He looked really close there. I'm surprised he didn't go for that. The inside was open. Round the final corner. Is he hoping to try and get slipstream here? Like you said, I don't think there's enough of a run. As they head down past the DRS board, across the line now, and Cam Dance takes another win.
That is
with Silas right on his tail.
Unbelievable stuff. That is the 3rd race in a row where Cam Dance takes the win from Silas, Craig Rollick. Jake Blackhall gets a podium. Christian Rose is 4th. Ed May is 5th, ahead of Kevin Zemstra. Pete Newman finishes 7th. Morgan Butler gets Arrow's first points of the season. Wow, welcome back to Tim Perry as well. Great drive by Tim. Started 15th on the grid. Gained 6 places to finish 9th. Good stuff for Prost. Jack Stiles gets points. John Tustin gets points for Minardi. And Ben Gregory is going to be the last points finisher of the race. Well, mate, what can you say about Cam Dance? What a guy. 3 out of 3. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, man, it's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 for those two drivers. Silas is going to want to turn that around in his favour in the next few rounds, I'm sure. If it goes his way for 3 rounds in a row after that, they'll be even on points, I think. That's how it should work. You got Zwemstra there in P6 again, so that's a double 6th place. He was 6th last time out. And then you got May there. I think Ed can be happy with that. He's going to be disappointed with, I think, losing the podium twice. But at the same time, P5.
Yeah, solid points.
Yeah, solid points. Where did he finish round 1? 12th round 1, got a point. Round 2, it was... Well, he wasn't there, was he?
No, he wasn't racing in round 2, so very, very good points for Ed. And it shows again that, you know, he's got the ability to be right up there and he's got the pace to do it. And I mean, again, Jake Blackall just so unlucky. A bit of contact really sealed the deal for his race. Kevin Zemstra, despite having that contact and that spin, you know, still 6th place. He can be really, really chuffed with that because it's more points for Ferrari. It's just, well... Alex Nellis says, same guy winning every week, shaking my head. I think he meant to say Formula 1, more like Boremula. Oh, wait. But no, this has been a hell of a season so far already. It's been very, very enjoyable. And we will finally give you some race results, everybody. I'm sweating buckets once again, Jack. I am more than entertained, mate. More than entertained. But Cam Dance takes his 3rd straight win this season, 100% win record so far. Silas Kragvrolic takes his 3rd second place finish of the season as well. Amazing, amazing stuff. Jake Blackall gets his best result of the season after finishing 5th twice. Finally gets a podium. Christian Rose finishes in 4th place. He did that at Interlagos as well. Ed May, great 5th place for him. Plenty of points. And then it's Kevin Zemstra in 6th for Ferrari. Pete Newman 7th, good points, but again, he'll just be very disappointed with that incident. Morgan Butler is 8th, good points for Arrows, ahead of Tim Perry, another consistent scorer for Prost. His teammate Craig Evans, unfortunately, not quite having the same fortunes. Then it was Jack Stiles rounding out your top 10 for Ferrari, with John Tustin getting the Minardi in the points yet again. Ben Gregory is 12th. He'll be thinking, what if, after being so high up in the championship. Hasse Raymer just misses out on points for Tyrrell, ahead of Adam Hedgecock and Carl Newen. Craig Evans is 16th, ahead of Jakub Szymanski, with Martin Kenyon 18th, a minute and a half down. Then it's Toby Ward in 19th position. Ben Hoffman was the first car, 1 lap down in 20th. Jack Werrell unfortunately didn't finish, but still a strong debut pace-wise. And Rob Lundgren again. Rob Lundgren again, unfortunately, not finishing.
I think Morgan's got to be happy. I mean, I know he had a little bit of a slow start in the race today, but 23rd round 1, 16th round 2, 8th round 3. Is it a constant rise? Are we going to see him in that top fight next time out, or is he going to keep finding himself in little spins and slides? The car is a handful. We've seen that in many of the drivers' hands. We've seen a load of great saves from Mr. Kenyon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mr. Kenyon was a star out there for saving that car sideways. Let's have a speak with some drivers. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's bring in the debutant. He may not have had the race go his way to the very, very end, but Jack Werrell joins us in the box. Jack, you must be pretty pleased with that debut, mate. Certainly showed a lot of pace there.
Yeah, it was one of them nights. I was really enjoying it. Me and the car gelled well. Bearing in mind it was, 10 o'clock this morning? I got the message from yourself saying there's a drive if you want it. So the first time I drove the car was the practice session, and really enjoyed it. Found lots of pace in the practice session, and then I think I shaved 9/10 off my quali time during the race. So I was really enjoying it. On for points in 9th. And I'm not sure whether I just didn't see it because I've recently upgraded to VR and I haven't moved my displays around yet. And I think I went into the pit lane with a slowdown, so it would have been like a 1-2 second slowdown and got given a 41 second time penalty. So I was stopped there for 40 seconds, returned to the circuit. I thought, right, now it's just time, enjoy yourself, fight through the pack. You might not get points, but it's going to be good fun. And then, yeah, it was just that mistake following Craig. I'm not even going to say it was because of me spinning in sympathy. If he wasn't there, I was going around anyway. And I held the brakes as long as I could, and it was just that tap which broke the rear suspension. And it's a shame, but I think for me personally, I've done what I've needed to do to make me realise there is points here for me, and I can fight for it. And pace-wise, I'm here to have a fight, so I'm looking forward to Catalonia. Yeah,
it should be good at the Spanish circuit. It's another one where we've got a long straight for slipstreaming, but not much slipstream anywhere else. I mean, yeah, maybe the back straight could be considered, but I mean, the main straight here at Imola, because it's not completely straight, it wasn't that much of an overtaking opportunity for everybody, was it?
No, it was tricky. I think these cars, while they massively reward aerodynamic assistance, you need to more focus on the corner leading onto the straight. So either the brakes, make sure you're good on the brakes to close that gap, or sometimes I even found lift off a little bit just to give yourself an extra tenth coming out of the corner, so then you can really pick up that overspeed and slingshot past them. But for me tonight, I'm not sure whether it was shown or not. The outside of turn one, I absolutely adore, because I can defend around the outside and I can go for a move around the outside, but just generally on the brakes, I think is my strong point at the moment. But that could just be the circuit, it could just be tonight. I still got a lot to learn about the car, but like I say, I'm really looking forward to it, and no matter where I end up, there's always going to be a battle there for me, because there's a great group of lads I've been made to feel really welcome. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you get on, Jack. It was a really strong debut, mate, and yeah, much like you, we look forward to Catalonia. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Of course, you two. You do a great job with the stream. It's always a pleasure to watch, and this time I'll be able to watch back as a driver. So I'm looking forward to that. Everybody that takes part, because whilst obviously all the hard work in the background and everything like that, we wouldn't be able to do it without the drivers. And we've got a great group of lads here, so looking forward to that, to racing with them more, and everybody that watches along at home, because it's nice to see the chat just sort of ticking away while the race is going on, and onwards and upwards to Premiere.
Lovely stuff, Jack. Well, thank you very much for jumping in, especially so late notice as well, mate. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you at the next one, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, cheers, guys. See you in Spain.
Cheers. Well, I wish I was going to Spain that soon. I've got to wait another month and a half yet. But either way, I mean, just going back to Jack's performance, Jack. I mean, Jack did well, didn't he, Jack? It was strong points maybe on the board there, because he was sort of on the outer fringes of the points finishes, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm like you said, he was there. He's shown he's got the pace, and it was just a number of small errors, I think, added up in the end, and then we saw that the synchronized spin towards the end. I've kept my 100% record of DNFers or low finishes. So I'll look forward to picking another driver next time out in Spain.
Well, hopefully you don't curse this guy, or maybe this guy is the only one that you should really curse anytime soon if it comes to race results. But Cam Dance, 3 out of 3, mate. I mean, for most of tonight, being in the middle of that pack where everybody was at a stalemate, did you expect to be at the front at all, let alone get a hat trick of wins?
Based on qualifying, no, not at all. Yeah, I thought I was going to get at least a top 5, if not podium. But yeah, look, I'll take a win as it is.
Well, it certainly looked like a very tricky circuit compared to the last ones. Obviously, less slipstreaming opportunities here, but one very big one. What was the sort of main process going through your head as that race developed?
Mainly just to keep up with the draft, to be honest. Obviously, stay within range to make sure I didn't drop off the back. And there was a little bit of debating as to what was going on in front of me, whether they were trying to work together, fuel save, or possibly try and run away. It was really, really confusing. But yeah, look, it was just all about trying to keep in the draft as much as you could. And then, obviously, when the time came to get some moves done.
Well, I mean, it's been a hell of a race, to be fair. It's looked like a lot of fun around Imola because it's a bit more twisty. We go to Catalonia next. It's a much wider circuit, but still quite a tricky, twisty, momentum-based track with a big, long straight. How do you think it's going to be there?
Not entirely sure. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens. It's probably going to be, I think, somewhat similar to Spa, where draft is really going to be important. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. We'll try and go for 4 in a row if we can. But I'm not going to be too mad if we don't get a 4th win.
Well, it's certainly been a great start to your campaign, mate. 3 out of 3 in a pole position as well to go with it into Lagos. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for your performances so far this season?
Yeah, obviously, shout out to the boys at Tech Sense for Sun Motorsport as always, and our partners, and Jack for sitting behind me and doing his spins. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, thanks to Silas and the boys for all the clean racing as well, and you for putting on the awesome series.
Thank you very much, Cam. Great to speak to you as always, mate. Well done on another win, and well, I suppose it's morning where you are, so enjoy your day.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers. See you soon. Well, there we go. Again, not as dominant as we've seen him, Cam Dance, but he was just in the right place at the right time again, and I think more and more people are realising that's where you have to be, isn't it, Jack? You have to be so careful and think about when people are pitting and where, and know when to get on the power and go for it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like you said, we got a little bit confused watching it as well. Once we heard Silas lift off, we kind of knew that there was a few people just kind of waiting for that opportunity. All 6 of them really. None of them were making moves. Ed May was the first to kind of pull the trigger with 2 laps to go until the pit stop phase, and then I think we both pretty much clocked as soon as Silas went to make the move for the lead and Cam went to make the move for P3. That was going to be the in lap. They clearly wanted to gain track position for that pit stop phase, and it just all kicked off then. And that's when it all boiled down to those in laps and out laps. We saw the train of 4 cars past the 2 that pulled the pit stops first. Now they all know the fuel tank sizes and how much fuel they're using, so it's going to be interesting to see whether they keep doing alternate strategies like that, or if everyone forces each other onto the same one, because obviously they can only go only so far. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Spain, but I'm sure if the last 3 races are anything to go by, it's going to be a tight one at the top.
It really will be. And somebody that was just out of touch of said top, but still having a much better performance than what we've seen so far this season, was Morgan Butler. Morgan, you must have been absolutely over the moon after qualifying, but unfortunately the race wasn't as simple. But then again, I guess it was quite nice to have a bit of time on your own out there and not have to worry so much about crazy fights and a bit of mayhem going on.
Yeah, qualifying was nice. I mean, to be the 4th car out and to sort of stay up at the top, it's always pleasant. But then, yeah, like you said, the race didn't really necessarily go as I was wanting. Because I don't know if you know, but on the McLaren GT3 rim, non-brand specified, obviously, there is a dial on the front that you can sort of set to have like clutch, handbrake. But I usually have it at the dual clutches, and I'd moved it by accident, so I didn't have my dual clutches mapped.
Oh no!
So when I dump the right clutch to have the left at whatever percentage I have it at, it wasn't there.
Oh no!
So it was just wheel spin and wheel spin. So I ended up dropping, I think, from like 5th down to I think 12th at one point.
Oh heck!
So then kind of had to come back through, but then by the time I'd kind of got back up to sort of the lead group, I was about 4 seconds off the back of obviously of Christian.
Yeah.
And when they're all in a train getting plenty of draft off Jake, like I just couldn't really keep up. I was keeping up on the back, but I wasn't able to kind of make any progress forwards, which was unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, these races are quite savage like that. But I mean, to see the pace that you've got, I mean, that must be a big confidence boost for the rest of the season going forward to Catalonia.
Yeah, like especially being able to kind of at least sort of stay at the same pace as the draft train up at the front without any draft, like being 4 seconds off the back of them and still kind of maintaining that pace was obviously nice, because it shows that they were running with a slipstream and I was running without and was able to keep up. So it's definitely a nice thing to think of going into the next round, because if I can kind of, you know, not fiddle about with knobs on my wheel, then I might be able to kind of stay with that lead pack and maybe even make a bit more progress forwards and obviously get more points and more prizes.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, we all know that points mean prizes, but it's the first points on the board for Arrows this season, so you get the team off the mark. Are you hoping to do more of the same at Catalonia? Is it a track that you enjoy?
I don't really enjoy it. To be honest, there's not really any track I enjoy. I think you know that. I don't really enjoy much, but yeah, it's nice to finally get some points and you know, actually be on the board somewhat. However, I do think there is an incident limit and I think I may have surpassed it. So I don't think those points will be given to me. But
Oh.
we'll have to see what happens. Like, to say I surpassed the incident limit may be a slight understatement.
Oh.
So yeah, I may have like doubled the incident limit almost. So, but I mean, if I've probably scored more incident points than the championship leader has actual championship points. So
Oh,
there's at
God.
least that going for me. If we can put those down on the board, that would be excellent, because I think I might be leading the championship at that point.
Well, that's for me to figure out in the next hour or so, I guess, while I do the results. But either way, Morgan, it was very entertaining to watch. Great to see that the pace is coming true for you at this point. You know, it's still early in the season yet. Plenty to see and plenty to do. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to while I've got you?
Yeah, obviously, just thanks to Pure Sims, obviously, and obviously thanks to like Jake, Christian, and Pete for really kind of giving us a hand in practice and just kind of showing me showing me the ropes. It was more me just following them and just seeing like, oh, he's breaking here, I'll do the same thing. But yeah, just obviously thanks to those guys for helping me find some pace.
Well, thank you very much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us, and well, we look forward to seeing you at Barcelona, mate. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Well, there we go, Jack. It was, it was all looking shiny for, Morgan until he admitted that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it does. I feel bad for celebrating it now, but it is what it is. 39 incident points, I believe, was the number.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, but I don't remember him, to be honest, getting involved in too much with other drivers. So I don't know if that was just a 1x fest of track limits or not. But like you said, that's for you to investigate. But that's realistically, it's another great round on a great track. Catalunya next, and it's one of those tracks that same as what you said earlier. It's one of those tracks where I personally don't like it, so would probably be weirdly quick around it. I don't know. But it does make for racing. There's some tricky corners there. It's going to be interesting. It's another wide circuit. There's some long flowy ones where these cars, the rear ends, are going to want to overtake themselves. There's some more downhill braking zones. There's some uphill fast rights, and then the slow section at the end. Or is it the historic version? Which version?
We're going
are we
historic.
to? Okay, so none of the silly chicanes, which would be great for these cars because otherwise their wings were going to fall off. But then, yeah, it's looking forward to it, and I'm sure we'll see another tight fight at the top.
We certainly will. It's going to be very, very entertaining. As for now, though, everybody, I'm afraid that is all we have time for here on Chaz Draycott Media and in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Thank you to all of our wonderful drivers as well for putting on such an entertaining race. And, of course, my good friend and phenomenal commentator friend, Jack Johns, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, once again. I've been Chaz Draycott, and we will see you again in 3 weeks' time. Have a good one.
Opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.